Ahoy and welcome back to LAT TV, and today, welcome to Barcelona. So at this point it became difficult to do a link for this video. Now, as you've seen by the title of this video, I have put how chaotic Barcelona was as a city on the certain day that I visited it. Now, as you're about to see and hear, that isn't only at the club. But let's start by putting it into some context. So I obviously went to view the Nou Camp. The Nou Camp is the biggest stadium in world football, or at least European football, and it holds around 96,000 people. It's currently starting a regeneration scheme and an expansion again to make it 106,000 people, which obviously is one hell of a lot of people. I thought it was quite interesting when there to see how small the actual pitch was in comparison to how tall the stadium was. Now, I have been to Barcelona and the stadium before, but I never got the chance to go inside the tunnel or sit in the seats where the managers would sit or get that close to the pitch. So for me it was quite a good experience, having gone around about 6 or 7 years ago. Obviously, as I've said, a lot has changed since then with this new regeneration scheme that is going on. They've got even more teams now. So FC Barcelona, Football Club Barcelona, they were founded in 1899 by a Switzerland-based businessman in Zurich, and originally the first people to play for the Catalan club in the Catalonia League were all English. That is why on the Barcelona badge you have the little St George's cross, as well as the national flag of Catalonia. Now, you may be aware or may not be aware of the political situation over there at the moment. Now, I'm not going to go into any details of that. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff on the internet should you wish to get into that further. But what was very prominent and present to see, not only at the club but in the city itself, was this political landscape that has developed over many, many years. So let's move on to the present day about the club itself. So the last shot that you saw was me with my middle finger in front of a shirt of Philippe Coutinho. Now, some of you may remember or have seen or know that I'm a massive Liverpool fan, so let me put that into some context. It wasn't meant in any derogatory way. In around about the end of January, middle of January, Philippe Coutinho left Liverpool for a British record fee in terms of money received by a British club of £142 million or thereabout, which is about 160 million euros to leave to go to Barcelona. Now, there was a bit of an issue at the time when this happened because things were not handled, what you would say, in the best possible way, and there was a lot of disgruntlement over the way that Coutinho left, and it was kind of my little dig back at the guy. But 100% he is a world-class footballer, and you can only thank him for what he has done for Liverpool, and I wish him all the best in his time at Barcelona, as long as he doesn't play against us and knock us out of the Champions League or beat us in anything like that. So now let's move on to the magician, or the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi. So you may have seen my Vatican video, my Roman Star video from a few days now. It was part of this Mediterranean trip, and obviously I talked about how it was a holy place. Now, I never thought I would say this, but when I actually went to the new camp today, what I thought was not surprising but strange to see was how much the Catalonians and the fans of Football Club Barcelona worshipped Lionel Messi. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe that he's the greatest player to ever play the game. But it was like this was his shrine, this was his cathedral, this was his worshipping place. And it was a really, not damning, but slightly strange situation to be in, having seen the way that the fans and the people there was reacting to this god-like figure. And I think that's the best way I could sum up that experience, something that I didn't necessarily get the first time that I went. So that for me was quite an interesting part to my trip. And as you saw, the new camp was absolutely packed, with people from about that high to about that high, and from about 3 all up to way older than my parents, that you would have seen, no doubt, in some of the footage, and we'll see a little bit later in this video as well. So it really was an experience for all types of people, however old you were, and there was the same feeling that everyone was there for one reason and one reason only: Lionel Messi. So that was my visit to the new camp, and then we went into Barcelona. Now, as you may have worked out if you've watched some of my other videos from this trip, a lot of these videos have been based on excursions that I've been doing on my time off the ship. So they are very tightly run. They are done to the minute. They know exactly when you're wanting to be leaving and when you're going to be getting at your next place of call. And obviously the thing to say most prominently is that today was kind of a little bit rushed. So what we then did, once we got back onto the bus, which took us into central Barcelona, to a part of the city called Las Ramblas. Now this is the most famous part of Barcelona city. It is a pedestrian area right in the middle or the heart of Barcelona. It is 1 kilometre long, and it runs from the centre of Barcelona down towards the Mediterranean Sea and the yachts and the harbour, in which at the bottom or the very eastern side of the city. So at this point it was quite difficult to film, not only because of the amount of people, but due to some of the things that was happening. Now this is an area that some of you may be aware of, is very well known, unfortunately, for pickpocketing. And unfortunately I did see some attempts to potentially steal or take belongings of people that were down there. So at this point it became pretty much impossible, I thought, to deliver you a proper video of an experience that I got when in Barcelona. And as I've already said, time, we got about 45 minutes, which isn't very long once you've gone and got a drink and got some food and been to the toilet. It really wasn't that long at all. So what I thought I would do instead is try to shoot some B-roll and give you the ideas not only of the busyness and the chaoticness of Barcelona and Las Ramblas and the very small surrounding area that we actually got to, but also a little bit of an overview of that area. So what you're about to see is Las Ramblas. So I hope you enjoyed that B-roll and got some sense of the city and the nature of which the city lives its life, and the narrowness of Las Ramblas. As I said, it's only 1 kilometre in length from top to bottom, and the width is very small. It also has a marketplace which is around about the centre of the street, to which my parents and my brother got things like salads and fruits and smoothies and all those types of things which you would have seen. It obviously, as I said, became quite hard to convey the real Barcelona due to the issues which I previously said. So I thought that the best way, as I've said, was to give you that overarching sense of what a place Barcelona was and the chaoticness which ensued in my time there. So it is somewhere where I think I need to go back to. As I said, I've been there once before. That was my second visit, and some of it I didn't really remember when I got into the city centre, but I don't think I really had enough time to be able to truly remember and sense that true Catalonian style once again. But hopefully I've managed to give you a good overarching idea of what Barcelona is like, and hopefully you have enjoyed all of these videos of this Mediterranean trip so far. If you haven't seen some of them, for example, if you go back after this video, there's a nice long playlist of my Med Adventure, and that is on the left hand side of my channel. This is not where the trip ends though. I am now going back to Mallorca, and we are going to be exploring that island in a little bit more detail. Some of you may remember that over a week ago now, I landed in Palma, and we didn't get the chance to look around the island as such, so hopefully over the next few days I'll be able to relax a little bit and take you guys through the island of Mallorca. So if there's anything that anyone wants to say about any of these videos, drop it in the comments, because obviously it's great to get you guys connected with what I'm doing and what you guys maybe want to see again on the channel. If you've liked this video, then obviously give it a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe for plenty more videos to come. And as I've said, I am sorry if this video hasn't been to the same standard as some of the other ones in this trip, but I hope that I've given that sense of what Barcelona was like today. So for today, that is everything. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video up to this point. And obviously, if you haven't watched any of the other videos or not been caught up, that will be on the little button up here, and you can go and look at the other ones. And obviously, as I said, if you haven't already, subscribe for plenty more videos to come, and I will see you guys very, very soon in Mallorca.